This is to show you what comes inside of the Project Risk game box and how to get your board laid out in order to use it. So the elements that are included in the box are 60 chips, and they get laid out on the board with 10 of those chips going into the bank chips and 50 chips that start the student with their funding in their project chips area. The next thing that's included in the box is 7 pawns, and we have one of those pawns, usually I use the black one, that goes into the initiating circle. That's going to be the pawn that actually goes through the roadmap of the board game. So just that one pawn actually moves through the game. The other 6 pawns get set into the team members area, and they're treated as the most important resources, but they are simply either sitting in the team members area, or if negative risks occur, you may actually lose those team members, in which case you would just remove them from the board. And one of the things is that if all of the team members are lost, you lose the game. Another thing that's included is 6 of these plastic card stands that are labeled as triggered, and they are explained later in the session, but you should have 6 of these in your box, and you should have 2 dice, an orange dice that represents the schedule rolls and the black dice that represents the risk card that's activated. You have a few sets of cards. You have 6 cards that have 2 sides. One side says mitigated, the other side says enhanced. And you have 2 sets of risk cards, a blue set and a green set. You will either play with one of these card sets or the other. You do not play with both sets of cards during one game. So the blue set is what I call right-on risk cards, where the actual risk that is discussed is written on by the participants or you as the instructor. The right-on risk cards are just great if you're using a real project or if you're using a case study. And the green set of risk cards are standard corporate kinds of project risks, like stress ran too high on your project, the storm interrupts the business, you've miscommunicated about important deliverables. And they each have penalties that are associated with them, and they each also have impact scores that are associated with them, which are described at a later point. The way that you actually lay out the cards on the board is going to depend on a random draw. So every team that's playing, or every individual that's playing, I recommend that you just have the cards kind of spread out like you would a normal deck of cards, and have them just randomly select any 2 cards from the 8. And the 2 that are selected will be placed into the unidentified risk area, detailed side down. And if those cards are activated later on, it's as if they were not in your identified risk log. They came out of the blue and they just get activated. Whereas those remaining 6 risk cards get set detailed side up in the identified risk log area. And these cards are the ones that the participants can strategize on. They can take the risk strategies that are explained on the board and that we'll learn more about in other sessions. And so they can activate their strategies at any point with the 6 risk cards that are in the identified risk card log. Some of the other elements that come in the box are the earned value optional sheet. So if you as an instructor want to teach earned value at the same time you're teaching the fundamentals of project management and risk management, you can use this sheet to have people see what the earned value is through the course of the project in relation to the planned value and the actual cost. So we utilize this spreadsheet to see what our planned value was, and for tracking actual costs as we go through the game and earned value. And then it's charted out by the participants by adding 2 additional lines as we go through the play of the game. So the earned value sheet is something that is a great way to teach the earned value terminology and to get a really good understanding from a tactical standpoint how it's used. There's a 2-sided instruction sheet that comes with every board, and most of the participants don't read the instruction sheet just like any other game or any other kind of assembly product, but I think it's really helpful to have it there as a reference because some people will read it to help, and so I recommend that you make that available to your participants. And we also have a pad, it's called a status pad, that comes with every board, and it has a sheet for every one of the project reporting periods that is played in the game, and there's 12 project reporting periods in each game. And so it's a really good way for the students to be able to track what they've rolled on their dice and what they're supposed to be doing during each one of the project reporting periods. It has a lot of space for them to be able to keep their own notes about what their strategies are and what they have spent. So I highly recommend that you encourage the participants to use this through the course of the play. So that's the contents of the box. One minor addition is also a pen that is used for charting the earned value, because you usually want to have a variety of colors when you're doing your line chart. So if you have any questions or concerns on what's in the box, how to get the board laid out, feel free to contact me. My email address is kwais@successfulprojects.com.